Today, I'm going to help you overcome the obsessive thoughts and help you to understand the specific habits that you can begin to implement in order to follow the no contact rule to its success of your own personal healing. What is up, my dear friends, and welcome to the Honey I'm Home podcast, a podcast here to help you win you back, especially after you feel like you've lost yourself during a heartbreak, breakup, separation, or divorce. And if you're wanting to learn how to lead yourself through life's most difficult times, this podcast is going to be for you. Today, we're going to be talking, like I said, a little bit about how you can begin to establish the proper habits in place when you're going through the no contact rule. And where this podcast episode really stems from is earlier this week, I had a client come out and reach out to me, and so we spoke a little bit about how his ex keeps reaching back out to him and during the no contact rule, and the things that I shared with him are the very things that I want to share with you in this episode today, because I feel like it was very insightful for him, and I believe it's going to be very insightful for you wherever you're at. But if you're following the no contact rule, I want to set the stage here real quick on really, what the no contact rule truly is. And I believe that the no contact rule is really set up for you. It's not set up for them. It's set up to help win you back. Not to help win them back. It's to help you to get comfortable in the moments of being alone and understanding the habits that you can implement to create a sense of well-being within your own heart and within your own mind. Every time I coach someone through the no contact rule, I oftentimes help them understand that going no contact can sometimes lead to your ex coming back because it'll bring this void, this miss. However, I want to set you up for a win-win situation. And what I mean by that is I want to help you win you back, regardless or if they come back or not. So if your ex comes back, great, you're happy. If they don't come back, great, you're still happy. Like, you got to set yourself up for a win-win, because you're only in control of yourself. You're not in control of anything outside of yourself. So understand that I completely get where you're coming from. The no contact rule can feel like a mental tug of war, especially when your ex continues to come back to you, reigniting those feelings just when you think you're starting to move on. Guess who shows back up? It's your ex-partner. And it's really just very tough for a lot of people out there when someone with, any type of avoidant personality sends mixed signals, making it even harder for you to fully let go. So when you're wanting to let go and move on, you've got to first sometimes establish some boundaries, some healthy habits and boundaries and some guidelines. And one of those guidelines, the first step that I always tell anybody to take, especially when they're trying to go and recreate happiness within themselves without reliant upon someone else to do so, is really follow the no contact rule and think about, what you can begin to do in order to allow yourself to let go and to heal. Thinking about your ex daily, replaying everything in your mind and wishing you had noticed all of the red flags earlier is just, I want to let you know, a natural part of the process. But here's the thing. Now that you see your ex's red flags, I believe that you have a opportunity to protect your heart moving forward. What's important now is to shift your focus from wishing things had been different to actively choosing what's best for you and your future self. The no contact rule isn't just about cutting communications. It's really about giving yourself the space and time to heal, regain some clarity, and stop the emotional roller coaster that you're constantly in. So when someone reels you back in without real change, without spending enough time and space away from them, when someone like your ex reels you back in without any real personal change, it's like reopening a wound that hasn't fully healed. Every time this happens, what I've learned is that it really prevents us from being able to fully move forward with our life and can even deepen the emotional pain that we've established from the original breakup, heartbreak, breakup, separation, or divorce. And one thing to think about here is about whether them coming back is giving you a temporary relief from the pain, or it's holding you back from getting the healing that you deserve. So let me just state that a little bit. One thing to always keep in mind is, whether their coming back is giving you a temporary relief from the pain. So when they come back into your life, you're like, oh, thank God, like I can finally be happy. I can finally feel at peace. But in the long run, you got to recognize whether or not it's holding you back from the healing that you deserve, that deep inner peace. because bringing your ex back into your life, thinking that that's going to fix all, the truth is it's really not. And the truth is recognizing the avoidant behavior now, even though it's super hard, it hurts really bad, is a huge step in protecting your emotional well-being from moving forward. So I think, honestly, my dear friend, to truly heal, it's about breaking the cycle. Stay firm in the no contact rule each and every single day. Refocus on yourself, your growth, your healing, and your future. As tough as it is, you got to learn how to set some boundaries. You got to learn how to act with more self-love. And in time, I believe that everybody has the ability to realize that the person who deserves your energy is someone who's consistent, supportive, and ready to show up fully for you, not someone who just reopens old wounds. So that's really let me just help you understand that I understand where you're coming from. And ultimately, to do a real big deep dive into this, if you're struggling to overcome, a heartbreak, a breakup, separation, divorce, I understand how difficult that can be. And that's exactly why I created the Heartbreak Recovery Roadmap. Tell people like yourself who are struggling to heal, step into the next chapter of their lives with confidence, peace, and self-love. My specific Happiness After Heartbreak Roadmap course isn't just about helping you move on. It's about transforming the way that you see yourself, breaking free from all of the hurt, and learning how to truly nurture your heart. So, if you're ready to take those steps, first couple of steps toward your healing, this roadmap will absolutely guide you along the way. It's helped thousands of others. It can help you too. It's time that I believe that you start to choose you and start living the life that you deserve without the pain holding you back. So let's walk through this together. You can join this specific roadmap recovery masterclass today at happyheartacademy.com/moving on training. Once again, happyheartacademy.com/moving on training. If you want to get access to the course, also you can find it in the show notes below. But now we're going to talk a little bit about the actual habits that you can begin to implement in your own life that can really stem and create some foundational structures in your life so that you can really begin to heal during the no contact rule. So there's 5 big ideas that I really want to talk to you today about. The first big idea, the first step is when pursuing the no contact rule, you must simply commit to the no contact rule. Because simply why this is so important is because it oftentimes helps you to cut off all communication and gives you the space and time needed to heal and focus on you. Now, I know some of you are going to be coming at me and being like, hey, Tyler, well, I have kids, so it's not that easy. I understand that too, but that's why I talk about the reduced no contact rule. It's a reduced contact rule, basically, and it's just you understanding that you still need to set up the boundaries, set up the communication, set up the do's and do nots to help you move through this time. Now, how do you actually begin to, if you don't have kids with your ex, how do you actually commit to the no contact rule? Well, some of the things that I recommend inside of my community, Happy Heart Academy, or my course, is to block their number if necessary, delete all social media connections, and remove reminders that will oftentimes trigger you to reach out to them. So think about all the very locations that you can still stalk them, remove them from those locations, and so that you can, once again, reconnect back to yourself, because the less time that you spend focusing on them is the more time that you can spend focusing on you. So that's where you originally want to stem and begin to work, is going to be your best bet. Now, the second big step here that you can begin to take is to begin to focus on some more self-awareness. Now, I think it all begins with self-awareness is about acknowledging your emotions. It's about understanding the loneliness you feel, the anger you feel, the sadness you feel. Now, the key point here is when you allow yourself to acknowledge your emotions, I need you to do so without judgment, without labeling them as good or bad. You see, we oftentimes get caught up in the story that we tell ourselves that are attached to the emotion, which keeps us stuck in the emotion. Okay? So what that simply means is this, is that when I experience loneliness and I label it as bad because I feel like I shouldn't be alone in this world, I oftentimes label it as bad because, like I said, I don't feel like I should be alone in this world. And with that being said, when I change the story of that specific emotion, I can change the outcome on how I feel. So when it comes to like focusing on your self-awareness, what can I do? What can you do? Well, here's what I've done, and I've simply do this on a daily basis. I have a journal called The Remarkable but just a simple practice when it comes to understanding your emotion and to allow it to be released from your mind and out of your heart, so that you can continue to move forward, is just keep a daily journal where you're going to write down your thoughts and feelings and reflect on your emotional progress every single week. Consistency in this, and this is why I have a community, this is why I have an academy, this is why I have courses, this is why I have programs to help you understand what topics you can begin to write about that can help you to progress throughout your emotional turmoil. Okay, so once again, the no contact rule, you got to commit to it. Number 2 is you got to focus on your self-awareness and acknowledging your emotions. Don't push them away. Allow yourself to acknowledge them, allow them to come up without judgment, and allowing yourself to just be with them, and then write down your experience within your journal. Number 3, the third big idea here, is you got to set some emotional boundaries. Simply put, boundaries is a big word, and I think a lot of people in this space is thinking about boundaries in a way that's actually helpful. So without firm boundaries, it's easy to fall back into unhealthy patterns, right? You might need to sit down and label what are some of your unhealthy patterns. It could be, sex, it could be drugs, it could be using other people, it could be pornography, it could be, whatever it is, going out and trying to find someone to spend your time with to avoid the pain, using someone else. I say you're trying to get under someone to get over someone. It's never going to work. You're trying to guess your way through your heartbreak. So you're trying to do all of these different things that people say you're supposed to do that's supposed to help, but it's not helping you. But here's what I need you to do is I just need you to simply do this. Establish some clear rules with yourself, like not checking their social media or talking to their mutual friends about them. Try not to surround yourself by people that know, like, and trust your ex, because you're going to try to build that connection with them. I know I did, and I know you will too. So try to establish some clear rules with yourself, like simply like, I'm not going to check their social media today, just today. And then you can build off today. Maybe it's for the next hour. Maybe it's for the next, 2 weeks. I don't know where you're at, but ultimately got to start to set some clear rules. Remember, the no contact rule is not about focusing on them. It's about focusing on you and setting up some boundaries and some self-awareness practices, like keeping a journal, writing down your thoughts and your feelings. And the next big idea here that I think is super helpful for those who are constantly obsessing over their ex in the past, and they have these obsessive thoughts, is practicing mindfulness and meditation. Listen, obsessive thoughts, my friend, is simply only thoughts that you are constantly bringing up because you're staying stuck in the past. You're not allowing yourself enough time to stay present in this very moment. Meditation will help you to calm your anxiety, your stress, your worry, and your obsessive thoughts, and help to keep you in the present moment. It's a practice that you haven't implemented yet, and why you continue to obsess about your ex is because you ultimately don't believe that there's someone else out there better for you, and your best is in the past. So why would you not stop thinking about them? When you have identified yourself and been like, hey, my ex was the best thing that's ever happened to me, my greatest asset to my life, he was my everything. It's not going to be easy for you to stop thinking about them, because the story is so strong and your happiness is found in the past. So why would you not go back to the past and think about the past where your happiness was? Well, if you want to stop obsessively thinking about your ex, you got to give yourself something new to think about that's just as exciting. And that means you have to create a hope-filled future, a future that excites you and helps you to win from within. And I'm telling you, if you can do that, it's going to help elevate your happiness. So once again, dedicate 10 to 15 minutes daily to meditation or mindfulness practices and the exercises to help you to reduce the obsessive thoughts, reduce your anxiety, reduce your stress, and help you to really stay grounded. And last practice, but not least, my dear friend, in this quick podcast episode that's going to be packed full of helpful information, is you got to learn how to reconnect back with yourself. Listen, breakups can make you lose your sense of self. Heartbreaks, breakups, separation, divorces, they make you lose a sense of yourself. So what you need to do is start doing whatever it is that you want to do that's helpful, healing for yourself. You got to make a list of activities or hobbies that you put off, and you just start exploring them. You start exploring fitness and creative hobbies or learning something new. You got to start to just ask yourself, what is it that I want to do? Who do I want to be? Just having you time is so vital in this moment in time. If you can learn to take care of you in this down moment, you'll never have to wait for someone else to bring you something to make you feel a certain way. You don't have to wait for someone to enter your life in order to feel loved. You won't have to wait for someone in your life to bring you happiness in order for you to feel happiness. You won't have to wait for someone to make you feel significant when you're filling up your own emotional needs. My friend, this practice is detrimental to your healing, into your journey. And if you need help moving on and creating a sense of happiness after heartbreak, you can start at happyheartacademy.com/moving on training. And that's going to really kick off your healing and your happiness. But the no contact rule is not something that you want to play around with. It is something that you either want to commit to or not commit to, but don't sit on the fence, because then you're going to end up beating yourself up because you're on the fence about the no contact rule. When you start the no contact rule, just make sure that you committed to it and you try to do your best to stay on top of it. Some of you are going to fall. Don't beat yourself up, but ultimately, start small. Be like, I'm not going to contact them for the next day. And then you're going to generate a win. Then you're going to be like, I'm going to not contact them for the next 3 days. You're going to generate another win. Now it's the next week, next month, next, whatever it's going to be. But it's like, start small so that you can continue to build up your wins. Because I've seen a lot of people felt the no contact rule and they think it's useless because they're too focused on not contacting them and not actually developing the habits during that time of the no contact rule that helps them win themselves back. So the 5 big things that you can do is commit to the no contact rule, focus on more self-awareness, set emotional boundaries, practice mindfulness and meditation, and reconnect back with yourself. My dear friend, I hope that you found this podcast helpful, supportive, encouraging, and or uplifting. And if you did, I would love for you to leave me a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever the heck you listen to this podcast at, because that's what's going to help me reach more hearts, more homes, and heal more people. Because I believe that when we heal a heart, that heart heals another. And we can start the healed people cycle. And I think that's a beautiful world to live in.